Hey, fellow Touretters, it's Ryan in with you. Time for another Tourette's vlog. Thought today I would talk a bit about Tourette Syndrome, the early years.
Tourette Syndrome, the early years.
All right. So, I was pretty much your average kid from about age 0 to age 5. And at about age 5, I started making this high pitched squealing sound. I mean, it was loud enough to where I would wake my parents up in the middle of the night, and they wouldn't know what was going on. And this is when I did sleep, because a lot of the time it kept me awake, and I started having sleeping problems about this time as well, and those have stayed with me throughout everything. I'm 30 now, and I still have sleeping problems. But anyway, so I started making these sounds, and my parents, didn't know what was going on. This was the 80s. The internet was around, yeah, but nobody had it in their house, and it wasn't a big thing yet. So they didn't know what was going on. They hadn't heard about Tourette syndrome. And me being 5, I didn't know what was going on either. I just started making these sounds. So this went on for, some time. And when I talk about it, I tick more. That's what you see. But this went on for some time. And of course, you guys know that in order to be diagnosed with Tourette's, you have to have the vocal and or motor tics for a year. And so this went on for a while, and my parents really got annoyed with it. They were telling me all the time, stop, quit making those sounds, what are you doing? Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I couldn't help it. So this went on for some time, and as I've said in vlogs past, they threatened me with with the doctor. Parents, don't threaten your kids with the doctor. It'll just make them afraid of doctors. I don't like doctors to this day. I go to them, yes, but I like them, not so much. So, I made these sounds, and I started making facial grimaces and that sort of stuff, and the eye blinking and everything. And it went on like this for years, really. And it kept progressing. It would wax and it would wane. It would come and it would go. And my parents eventually just gave up on trying to get me to stop, because they knew at that point that I wasn't going to stop. They just still didn't know why I was doing it, but they had given up on it. And I tried to squash it in different ways. I would bite on a blanket at nighttime to try to keep myself from doing it, and that didn't help. I just ended up chewing up my blanket. But, it went on like this up until late middle school, early high school. The advent of the internet in the house was a great thing. I started researching it. I was, old enough to know that something was different, plus other things were starting to come into play, like obsessive compulsive disorder, and that sort of stuff was starting to come into play at that time. So I wanted to know why I did what I did. So I started researching it, and I found this term called Tourette Syndrome, and I read about it, and sure enough, it fits the bill. So at that point, I self-diagnosed myself, and I went through high school, and I was at this point, because of my parents, and I'm not blaming them for anything, but because they had been so hard on me to stop and everything for years, up until just a few years ago. When anybody would ask me about it, I would say, I don't know what you're talking about. My eyes are dry, or something. And I didn't want to talk about it. And friends in high school, friends, they made fun of me, and it really hurt me. But they're still friends. I mean, they didn't know what was going on any more than I did. But yeah, that's pretty much it through high school. I'll save my 20s for another vlog. But just real quick, to any kids that might be watching this who might have just started ticking, or might have been ticking for a few years, just know that it isn't the end of the world. Sure, it's annoying and very annoying, but guys, it's not the end of the world. I mean, there are many worse things that you could have that could happen to you, you know. So just don't fret it too much. Just, take it day by day, and just know that there's really nothing wrong with you. You just tick a little. I mean, that's it. And my advice to parents, real quick, is don't treat your kids different. Don't treat them like the disorder defines them. And be supportive, and try to, if you notice your children are starting to tick, look into it. Go see a doctor, and instead of being negative towards them. There are better routes you can take, and it will save your kids a lot of heartache later in life. Just be patient and be supportive, and know that it's not the end of the world. And your children are fine. They just tick some. They just can't control some of their movements, and that's just the hand some people are dealt. But yeah, be supportive. And kids, it's not the end of the world. All right, that's going to do it for me. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.